Hello, it's Stephanie with Coffee Paper Scissors. I'm still working on the second of the 3-ring binder Christmas journals and thought I would bring you along today to make a giant tag. So again, these are really fun because you get to do things you don't normally get to do, making things oversized. And a lot of times the books that we have, the scrapbook paper, you know, that sort of thing, you don't have to fold your scrapbook paper. Of course, I did here to make a pocket, but you can, you know, leave a scrapbook paper, like I'm cutting an inch off the top to fit. And that's pretty cool to be able to do that, because I don't tend to use scrapbook paper in my journals very often, folded in half, because I feel like it's kind of strange. I mean, I do, but I don't use a lot of them. And in this, I'm using all scrapbook paper. So that's pretty good. Okay, so I'm gonna make a tag this full size. Let me get this out of the way. And oh my goodness, I've got little bits everywhere. I'll move my stuff all back. I'm going to find a place for this. Let's see. And get myself situated a little bit. I'm gonna try and get a little closer. Hopefully I will know to leave it there. And then I have all of these scraps. I thought it would be fun to just piece stuff together. Isn't that great? You know, ooh, let's use the scraps. The, oh, I just dropped something. Hold on, you guys. This is a good sign. Great video ahead. Okay, I'm gonna reach around here for a second. This is the paper pack I've been using for this particular one. And these scraps are not only from this year, they're from previous years as well. I thought I would try and use some. And I don't know if you've noticed, but craft paper has a good side and a not as good side. So I'm gonna glue onto the not as good side. And we're just gonna go for it. I'm just gonna take pieces, hopefully not cut a lot of pieces, and just see what we come up with. I'm gonna try not to think about it too much. I don't plan on using the blues because there really are no blues in this journal. So already I'm thinking about it. And let's see, I'm okay if there's overlapping. So we're just gonna go for it and see how it turns out. I don't think I've made a video in quite a while. I think the last video I did was the flip through of the first one that I completed. Sorry about the wiggle there. So what's been going on? I've been doing this. And we had Thanksgiving, and that was nice. My daughter came home from school. It was her first time home since being dropped off, and it was really good to see her. I was independent, you know, at her age, but I feel like she's more independent than I was. So some of the things like this, I'm not sure I like too much, but let's see. Maybe if I just find a fatter piece. I'm gonna cut and then I'll trim whatever's hanging off. Yeah, so she's over in Bellingham. It's, how long? Like 6.5, I think they say, like if you Google it, I think they say it's like 6.5 hours, but you know, traffic, it just depends. And so she flew home because between here and there is Snoqualmie Pass, and sometimes it can get closed. Sometimes you have to have chains to go over it, like it's chains required. There, you know, just circumstances. And so we didn't want to have her stuck on one side or the other and not be able to come home. So we went ahead and bought a ticket. The tickets from Bellingham to Spokane were insanely expensive. So she drove to the SeaTac airport, and there's just a little edge coming off the side. So she drove there, her and her roommates. One of her roommates is from here locally. And then the other one, they met, you know, for the first time at school. So that was fun for them. And they get along really well. Anyway, they were all flying out at kind of the same time. Obviously, the one coming home was flying out at the exact same time because they were on the same plane. The other one, she had to sit and wait for her flight for a while. But, so she does things that just scare me still. I mean, I don't like driving over there. I know that's totally wimpy. I mean, people, for goodness sakes, they learn to drive over there, but I've never lived in a place that is that populated. And it intimidates the, you know what, out of me. The heck is what I was going to say. It really intimidates me, and it does not seem to intimidate her. So I'm proud of her for that. She doesn't get that from me. Let's see, will that one go all the way across? It will. I think we'll do an all the way across one. I'm just going to cut it down a little bit and, you know, create another scrap. Brilliant, Stephanie. So she found her own place to park. I guess, I don't know if it's a new thing, like they've had to expand the airport or something, and so they got rid of long-term parking, or if there never was long-term parking at the airport there. I don't really know, but there isn't now, according to her research. And so she found a place to park at a hotel, and, you know, you just have to pay them. So she paid for, you know, they split it up. But so, you know, they had to figure out all of their itinerary, like when to leave the school and how long it was going to take, possible holiday traffic, how long it was going to take once they got to the hotel to get their shuttle over to the airport, and then how long was it going to take for, you know, checking in and going through security and all that kind of stuff. She did it all herself, and everything worked out great. Of course, I mean, you know, she's no idiot, but still, things like that are intimidating. Of course, then I think back, maybe it's just because it's my daughter, and I'm like, oh no, she needs my help. And I think more than I should of what she did, because it makes me think back to a time when I was, I don't know, how old was I? Maybe 22. And I had a boyfriend who was, oh, here's some with flowers on it. He was a pilot out in the bush in Alaska, and I flew to meet him. And I mean, that's kind of different, because flying out to the bush, if I used to live in Alaska, so flying out to the bush, it's not, it's not normal. Like, it's not normal flying. It's different. And so I figured that all out, you know, on my own. So, I mean, I guess it's not unheard of. But anyway, she got herself home, and we had a good time. Oh, out in the bush. So I don't think I've ever told you guys about this, and it's not like you guys watch all my videos and that I don't have new subbies and stuff like that. The snow, you guys, I don't know. Where did I go? I feel like, I'm trying to think. It's been so long, but I'm pretty sure I went to Aniak, Alaska. And I should be doing a bigger piece. I'll do the next one bigger. The snow is insane. And of course, it's Alaska. You would think the snow is insane, but in other places in Alaska, there's snow removal. They if you don't live in a place where it snows like crazy, they'll just push the snow to the side of the road, and you know, it'll melt in a couple weeks, but it doesn't melt in a couple weeks up there. It just continues to pile up until April or May or something like that, when it finally melts. And so like in Anchorage, when I lived there, they actually removed the snow from the road, and they had snow dump areas. And but out in Antioch, the snow there were like snow walls. I feel like I have told you guys this before, so maybe some of you have heard this story. There were snow walls. I had never seen anything like that in my life. So the road had, you couldn't see, like if you were using one of the snow machines, they call snowmobiles snow machines up there. And if you were using one of those to say get to work or whatever, which is what a lot of them do, it's kind of like a maze. They blow it. I don't know what they do for sure. I wasn't there that long. I was there for like a week. But there is snow tunneled, you know, on either side of the road. You are literally, there's a snow wall on either side of the road. It was crazy. And then the house that we were staying in, it was the pilot house, and I'm thinking, what was I going to say? So my boyfriend had been there for a while, you know, he had seen before snow, and the level of the front door, he goes, normally there's like 5 feet to the ground, but I thought I was walking kind of on ground level. No, I was walking on like 5 feet of compacted snow, and the porch was like almost level with the snow. Who knows? I mean, it was going to keep snowing too, because I was there in the middle of winter. So I don't know how much worse it actually gets. It's crazy when you don't experience, you just don't think about what that's like. It's just nuts to me. Just nuts. So, but anyway, we had a good Thanksgiving, and we went to my sister-in-law's house for dinner, which is nice because she always cooks the turkey and I don't have to. Can't complain. Maybe she complains. I don't know, but I think we'll do another straight across one. I'll just cut. So this is actually the part of the paper pack where the scrapbook paper is attached. Let's see. I think I'll hold it. I just won't put glue all the way to the end. I brought, I don't know, a good portion of the sides. There were more people visiting this time. She had invited a friend, and then her kids, now they're older, you know, they supply part of the meal also with their spouses or girlfriend, spouse. She has 2 kids, spouse or girlfriend. One of them is married and one of them is getting married soon. But then a friend came too, and so there were plenty of sides to go around. And my husband's daughter, he has 2 daughters from his first marriage. She lives in their basement. They have a full, like, what is it called? Mother-in-law basement or whatever, you know, one of those things. And her husband rent that from them. So they were there too. This is the first holidays since they moved here that they've been, you know, here for one of the major holidays. So that was interesting and fun. They grew up down in Texas, so they have rarely spent holidays with their dad, so it's kind of nice. It's kind of a nice new thing for her. I think When his first two, when they were really little, he used to always fly down for Christmas and spend Christmas with them. But they get older and they don't seem to want, that sort of thing. They used to come and visit us for weeks at a time during the summer when they were little, and then they quit wanting to because they had friends that they wanted to hang out with. It makes sense, kind of weird, but it makes sense. So anyway, let's see. I didn't make any sort of fun dessert. I like to, so I know I eat gluten-free, not because I want to, but because I have to. And I know it's kind of frustrating when people hear that. It's like, most of us don't make that choice because we want to. Most of us do not. Anyway, so I usually try and come up with some really yummy dessert, and I just didn't want to this time. I thought, I don't really care. It's not like I don't eat sugar constantly anyway. So I didn't have any dessert this time. I had a pumpkin pie earlier in the season, and I don't know. I don't think I made it gluten-free. I think I just dug the pumpkin pie part of it out. Normally what I do is I bring either pecan pie or pecan pie bars, and I love pecan pie. A lot of people think it's too sweet, and I'm like, yeah, exactly, that's the point. Anyway, somebody else was bringing pecan pie, so I didn't, and just didn't worry about it. But anyway, I'm rambling, just filling time here. Hopefully this isn't too boring for you guys. So yeah, grab your scraps and just, go for it. They're so hard. I mean, for me anyway, scraps are really hard to use. And so I thought they all go together. It's from the same paper pack. This shouldn't be too hard. So yeah, my daughter, she did some Black Friday shopping. I'm not a Black Friday shopper. But then I see craft hauls and I think, man, why didn't I go? But, oh well. Oh well. I did go a couple days later. I don't even know when. And I bought some stickers. The paper was tempting, but I don't know. Maybe I'll regret it next year. There will be more paper, right? There will be more. This is a good, ooh, does it go all the way to the top? Almost, or maybe it does. I think it does. Yay, and then I would just need one more. Maybe, oh, it's one of the perforation is right there. I'm just gonna kind of follow the perforation. And we'll do that. So I'm gonna put this one first. So what else? I'm almost done here, and then I'm gonna pause it and find an image to put on the front because I don't have that yet. I have no idea what I'm gonna put on the front. Hopefully I haven't had my head in the way too much. Gigantic tag. I went to the thrift store yesterday, and I went to a couple, and I didn't really find anything good. I found one thing. But there was, I like paper punches, and especially edge paper punches, those decorative edge ones. And it didn't even work. It wouldn't even budge, and they still had a price tag on it of like $3.99. This part was stuck. And I messed with it a little bit to see if I could get it to work, because I know they get stuck sometimes. No, this thing is broken, and they were still trying to sell it. It's just frustrating how the thrift stores are just so overpriced, and then you know, even try to sell things that don't work. Okay. Wow, that's a giant tag. Well, there's the base. Now I need to go find a giant picture to put on it. So I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so while I was away, I made 2 more tags, and it did no good. My pile looks exactly the same, you guys. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna move them out of the way while I work on this one. I went onto the Graphics Fairy website and I found this. I added some of the Fun Fur stuff around the edges. And then I have some things to add. I used one of my punches, this one, and some of the scraps that I've been making with all of the backing that I've been adding to images. And I just did some punching. So, excuse me, what were we talking about? We were talking about my daughter coming home for Thanksgiving, I believe. So yeah, it went well. She's back at school, but we'll be back here in a few weeks for the winter break, which is nice. The only thing that I don't appreciate about that is the airplane ticket price. Because once again, if she tries to drive home, I just ate lunch, so I'm having to clear my throat. If she tries to drive home, she may not be able to get over the pass. And then when she tries to go back to school, she may not be able to get over the pass. So we're just buying the tickets, and ouch. I like to remind her that if she had gone to school closer, this wouldn't be a problem. But she didn't want to go to the school I went to. Sorry about the clearing. And then I talked to my son yesterday, and let's see. I'm trying to get it so that there wasn't a line that it was coming up against on either side, and it worked out. You know, like I didn't want it to be butted up on a straight line. I wanted it to kind of cover a straight line. So I'm putting this down as just a base for the angel to stand on. Anyway, I'm trying to decide. I think this is still the best option. So I glued this stuff on with hot glue right along the edge. So it's creating a little bit of a lip, but I mean, I think it'll be fine. I just have to push on it for a little bit and it'll stick. So my son got his leave approved for his break. He'll get to come home for a couple weeks, and he's very excited about that. He left, excuse me, he left for basic in July, was it? So he hasn't been home since July, and he is really looking forward to coming home and just being him for a few days instead of who they're, you know, making him be. Does that make sense? Yes, sir, it does. So yeah, he's looking forward to a break. Maybe I should have done hot glue because the edges are sticking up, but it'll be okay as long as it goes down into the pocket okay, which I think it will. I mean, maybe with a little bit of encouragement. I just want to make sure everything's stuck down real well. So yeah, they were having trouble with his email, the military email address. And of course, that's everything that they do with him. He uses the military email, and it wasn't working properly. So he said there were quite a few people who were waiting for their leave. I don't know exactly what he was saying. Something about all of the information or the paperwork wasn't going through. Like they would fill the paperwork out, but it wasn't accepting it or something like that. I'm not sure. Okay, and then I took one of the little labels from the paper pack and put it on some craft cardstock, more of the scraps, and I thought I would put it covering up. I want it on the right on the edge, and I'm covering up one of the kind of seams a little bit. Anyway, he got his leave. He texted me this morning because he was talking to me last night saying he finally got the email and stuff working properly yesterday after like a week or something of trying. And then he had to wait for his higher up to approve it. And, you know, sometimes the higher ups aren't paying much attention to the lower downs. But she approved it this morning, so he's good to go. He'll be home. I think he'll be home on the 20th of December. Okay, I did a double thing. I think of what I want to do here is do a ribbon tied in a bow, but I'm going to put that to the side for a second. I did 2 more, and these ones are going to be outside. They're not going to be in a pocket. They're going to be outside. I'm going to hole punch them so that they turn. I don't know where I'm going to put them in the journal yet, but I thought it'd be, you know, fun to have, you know, more big tags. So this was another image from Graphics Fairy. I think it was a postcard or something, you know, like a vintage postcard. And so I cut the parts out, and then I thought what I would do is make it look like this little basket of kitties is on a rug, and then this holly was around it. So I just fussy cut it out, and then it, you know, it's not kind of showing up well on the paper. So I put some lacy stuff behind it, and I think that placement is decent. Right. I want it all to fit though. Okay, so I'm going to shoot. What am I going to do? I think I'm going to use Fabri-Tac. I don't know if I've used it today, so it doesn't want to come out. Did I tell you guys? Okay, so about, I don't know, 2 years ago at this point, my son and his girlfriend broke up, and it really kind of made me very sad, because they had been together for quite a while, and I used a lot of Fabri-Tac on there, but that's okay. They had been together for a while, and, you know, while they were in high school and all that kind of stuff. And she had just been part of the family and everything for so long that it was like, you know, my son sent one of my kids away. I was like, wait a minute, what? Anyway, so they were, you know, separated from each other for a couple of years almost. I don't know. Yeah, a couple of years almost, I think, 1.5 years. And they got back together right before he went for basic, and so they're back together, and so that's kind of interesting. I'm happy about it, you know. I feel like my kid came home. Of course, I didn't tell him, you know, how sad I was or anything, because you have to support your kid if that's not working out. You can't be like, well, sorry, you know, but it did make me really sad. I mean, they were young though, so it's not like, I mean, it was kind of a good decision on his part, I guess, but because of how young they were. If it wasn't working out, that was the right decision. But I was like, well, what changed? He goes, well, I'm older now. Okay. But anyway, she stopped by last night to grab something. So, I mean, I don't see her much because, you know, my son is in California and she's here, but but she stopped by to grab something yesterday, and so I got to see her for a few minutes. She's the sweetest thing. She really is sweet. I went and visited her a couple of times after they broke up. She was working at a store nearby, and, you know, I went in to see her and just say hi, and I just wanted her to know that just because, you know, that happened, I wasn't like the enemy or anything like that. And it made me cry. Oh my goodness. I went and saw her like twice, and then I was like, okay, I need to stop, because she might get irritated. You know, she'll start dating somebody else, and then she'll be like, you need to leave me alone, woman. So yeah, I was thinking I was going to kind of just place this on top. I couldn't find a better place to put it. I'm still not totally sure, because I'm going to have to punch holes in it. Let me just reach across here real quick. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I'm putting it where I want it or not. I'm just going to put it. And then I have one more. Okay, so also I'm planning on sewing around these. So I'm going to put toppers on them and sew around them, and then come back and show them to you, maybe even in the book. I just have to find a place for them in the book. Okay, you guys, I wasn't sure if I would use this or not. That's funny, isn't it? There's something just a little bit maybe creepy about it. But I like it, I think. I took another hole punch. This one is a Martha Stewart hole punch. I found this one at a thrift store a couple years back, and it works really well. It's really pretty. And then I took it and I inked it. I mean, I inked it hard. So one of the things that is really weird about these, in my opinion, is it's like you can't get anything else off of them. You use your thing and it just doesn't do anything. But if you take something and put it directly on there, there's all kinds of stuff in there. So I took this after I punched it, and I just, you know, did this to it on a piece of paper, and it inked it right up. So if you have these, if you have lots of extras or whatever, and you don't want to throw them away because they're not cheap, you can always use them upside down that way. And it worked out. So, and I just added that as a little something to put her on. I'm just not quite sure. I want it to show. And then I thought, this is paper. These are things from the kit itself. And I don't know, the colors go. So I was thinking to put this here, but I don't want it to overlap. So I might have to, I guess this could stick off a little ways. My hole punch is probably going to be right there, but that's fine. All right, so let's glue her down. Little poor kid got baked into a pie. You know, things happen. One of the things, so when my daughter was here for, for Thanksgiving, she wanted to go visit her friends. And so a couple of her friends that she would spend most of the time with have recently moved out of their parents' house and got an apartment in Spokane. And so she was going to go visit them at their new apartment and spend the night. And, I've got that Life 360 on my phone so I can see where she is and stuff like that. Have I said before I'm glad that didn't exist when I was a teenager? But I'm really glad it exists now. But I don't abuse it like it, I don't know. Let's just say that my dad was maybe a little bit more protective than he should have been. I pretty much wasn't allowed out of the house. So the Life 360, my dad would have found me in my bedroom at all times. So, not really a big deal if I had it, I suppose. But, so she was going over, Spokane's like overpopulated now, and there's not enough housing for the people who want a place to live. And one of the places, there's an area of town called Hilliard. Now, if you live in Spokane or whatever, and you live in Hilliard, I'm not saying every part of Hilliard is bad. I would never say that. But Hilliard is known for some shady stuff. And so her friends, one of the places you can afford rent when you're a kid and broke is Hilliard. So that's where they're living. And I'm like, so you're going to go spend the night in Hilliard, huh? She's like, yeah, Mom. I was already over there earlier today because she had been out with her friend, and I guess they took her there and showed her the place. And yeah, I'm like, well, that was daytime. So I have, Life 360. So she takes off. She has my car because, she had flown. And she gets there, and I'm watching as she's what appears to be looking for a place to park. But, the Life 360 has to do with your phone, not the vehicle. So then I'm like, wait, is she looking for a place to park? Or is she on foot running away from somebody trying to get her right now? Because it was dark at this point. So, of course, all the crazy things start going through the mom's mind. I'm like, wait a minute. All of a sudden, she's turning around. Wait, is she lost? Does she not know where she's going? And so it looked like it, the car was in one place for a while. So I texted her and I'm like, did you go inside? Are you safely inside? She's like, yes, Mom, I'm inside. Okay, I'll finish that in a minute. I am going to add toppers, and we'll find a place to put these, and I'm going to sew around it, and then we'll find a place to put these in the journal. So I'll be back in a few. All right, you guys, I think I'm finished. Oh, I was going to add some stickers to the back side. I don't know. Let me see if I have anything really quickly. I don't want to take too much time. I don't know. So not yet. Okay, so that's all finished. I added this at the top with a little holly. It's all stitched around, and I punched it. So let's go ahead and put that one in. So, yeah, I was telling you about my daughter. So I'm thinking, okay, she's running from someone. It's dark in a bad area of town. Oh no. So there's that one. And then here is this one. So I asked her, and she said, yes, she made it. And I said, well, stay inside. So what I was able to see on Life 360, let's see if I can get this down in the pocket, was what looked like a warehouse and lots of vehicles parked everywhere around it. It did not look like a house. It did not look like apartments. It just looked like some random place. Okay, so there's that. So that's what I worried about all night long, just get there and stay put. So when she got home the next day, here's the last one. And I just added that at the top. And I thought it went well with the, you know, gold over here. I said, Emily, what is it? Where were you? And I showed her the picture of what I could see on Life 360. And whatever I could see had been torn down and apartments had been built. She's like, no, Mom, this is what it looks like. And it's brand new duplexes. So, yeah, that's what Life 360 does for you. Okay, you guys, that is all that I have today. I am hoping that I will finish this by either this afternoon or tomorrow. I only have a few pages left to go through. So that's my goal. Thanks, you guys, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.